Yes. I'm talking about TikTok again. Welcome to Cyber Safety Net Stay Safe Online, episode 127, How to Block TikTok. My name is Mark Anthony Germanos, and I will be the presenter today. TikTok is in the news again because it is a social media service that is owned by a company based in China. And TikTok harvests our data. Even if you don't have an account with TikTok and you're using it free or anonymously, they still harvest your data, your surfing habits, and then return it back to the mothership. This is not the first time I've talked about TikTok. I did back in episode 122, which you can find on Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course on YouTube. Today's presentation is sponsored by my fourth book, How Hacks Happen. In How Hacks Happen, there are two personas. There's me, Mark, the good guy who wants to protect you. There's Brad Cracker, the bad guy who wants to rip you off. And he's a hacker. Brad says he's good at hacking, hacking is easy, and he likes the easy money. Also, maybe you knew this, maybe not, but hacking is not legal in some countries. Yeah, Russia, Iran, North Korea, hacking is not illegal. And heck, if you hack the rich Americans, even better. Back in episode 102, I introduced the CIA Triad, or the Confidentiality, Integrity, Availability Triad. And since we're talking about confidentiality or your web surfing habits being recorded, I think we are in the confidentiality domain. There are many organizations, both federal and state, that are blocking TikTok. That includes Department of Homeland Security, Department of Defense, and Department of State. Plus, TikTok is blocked by many states, including Texas, and the networks of the University of Texas at Austin and Dallas. TikTok harvests our data. It harvests our data if we have a TikTok account or if we don't. Here's a slide from episode 122. And boy, oh boy, if you want to spy on somebody, this is exactly how to do it. I thought maybe TikTok would go away and we'd all think about something else. But since China is sending balloons from Alaska to South Carolina, it's back in the news. Are they trying to capture reconnaissance on us and then attack someday down the road? Some people would say yes. My glass is half full, theirs is half empty. Let's talk about the host file, because a host file is a file that your computer looks at to resolve host names to IP addresses. If you did not have a hosts file, then every time you try to go to a website, you'd have to type a 12-digit IP address. You have a name, but if you don't have a host file, then you're typing in a 12-digit IP address. These days, we have a service called DNS, or Domain Name Service, which lets you type in a name, then it resolves that to a 12-digit IP address. And boy, oh boy, it sure is convenient. When I was learning about networks, we didn't have local DNS, and things were a lot more difficult to figure out. The hosts file is a file that sits in a protected system folder within Windows. It's on the C drive in Windows, System32, drivers, etc. And the host file will override DNS. Now, what we're going to see in a video that I'm going to show you in 2 slides is that you can have an entry in the host file. And in this example, it's going to be for TikTok, where we have an entry for TikTok.com in the host file, and your computer's going to think that TikTok is on the same computer. So the entry or the lookup will fail. Your request to go to TikTok will go and fail, which is a good thing. Here are a few notes about the host file. One is it is raw text, and because of that, we edit it with Notepad, not Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word will put additional header information into a file, and that would ruin the host file. So we're going to use Notepad, which is a bare bones text editor, but believe me, Notepad comes in very handy very often. So we'll be using Notepad. Number two, I'm going to pick up Notepad from the System Protected folder, Windows, System32, drivers, etc. Copy it into C:\temp, make changes, save them, go back or copy that back into C, Windows, System32, drivers, etc. Override the older version, and then try to visit TikTok. That lookup will fail, which is a good thing. I have a short video. This is almost 3 minutes long. The video has no audio, so I will narrate. This video is of me doing everything I talked about in the previous slide. I start in this Windows protected folder, Windows, System32, drivers, etc. I copy hosts into a different folder, into C:\temp. Then I edit it with Notepad, the bare bones text editor, which comes in handy very often. When we look at the hosts file, we will see REM statements, which are notes that programmers leave in programs. The computer will not execute a REM statement, but boy, if you're looking at code, trying to figure out what it's supposed to do, those REM statements come in very, very handy. In batch files or in the host file, REM statements begin with the £, or these days we know it as a hashtag. I'm creating an entry for TikTok.com for 127.0.0.1, which is the loopback. This will tell my computer that when I try going to TikTok.com, go right back to the same computer. The lookup will fail and we will get an error message within the web browser. And I'll be using Chrome in this example. Here's a big thing to remember. We cannot edit a file within System32, drivers, etc., but we can in C:\temp. So I made my edits in C:\temp and then copied the result or the new host file back into C, Windows, System32, drivers, etc. And now the moment of truth. I launch Google Chrome and try to get to TikTok. It failed, which is a good thing because my computer's request to go to TikTok went, and since I'm not running TikTok on my notebook computer, the one I used when I recorded that video, the request failed. Now at this time, some people say, Mark, why don't you just do a DNS entry? Well, I could do a DNS entry for a network that I manage, but since this is a notebook, it can connect to random airport networks, random hotel networks in random cities, and I can't control the DNS there. But with an entry in the host file, I can. The host file entries override DNS. You know what? We are done. Stay away from TikTok. If the Department of Homeland Security doesn't let people go to TikTok, you shouldn't, I shouldn't. I know your time is valuable. I know there are other places you could have been, but you chose to be here. You chose to listen to me, Mark Anthony Germanos, show you how to use the host file to block access to TikTok. And that's a good thing. Thank you for watching.